from Farnborough Airport. He's the CEO. I want to bring in Finlay Asher, who's the co-founder of Safe Landing. It's an aviation campaign group. Morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What do you make of these plans for more flights out of Farnborough?
Well, our group is a group for aviation workers. We've got pilots. I'm an aerospace engineer. We've got air traffic controllers. We're really concerned about the growth of our industry in the UK and around the world because we can obviously see the impacts of the climate crisis, made very real this summer, where you saw lots of tourist destinations like Hawaii, like Rhodes in Greece, Palermo Airport in Italy, but had a wildfire raging around it, so we couldn't fly in and out. So there's a real risk, not just to humanity, not just to the planet, but for our ability to be able to travel places by air in the future. And I just kind of want to touch on a couple of things that were brought to the feature there. I mean, we were talking firstly about the environmental impact of private flights, which is undeniable. They are one of the most polluting ways to travel, one of the fastest ways you can burn fossil fuels and produce carbon emissions. But on the other side, we've heard from the CEO and from other people that are thinking, well, maybe this is good for business, maybe this is good for the economy and jobs for local people. Now, that's only true if you make a good long-term investment for something that's going to continue to generate revenue and continue to make money. But if you look at what's been discussed in the media over the past couple of years and in politics, it's very likely that we're going to see private jets, the type of small, fast aircraft that fly out of Farnborough, being heavily regulated over the next 5-10 years. And therefore, if you expand the airport to cater for those types of aircraft, that could be a very bad investment decision. And if you make a bad investment decision, obviously that can massively impact workers when their jobs are then cut, when the business making it realises.
The expansion is number of flights, not actually particularly making the airport any bigger, though. Let's just make that clear.
Well, it's to cater to an additional 40% of flights, right? So I think there'll be substantial changes made and investment made. And what we're saying is we would rather that investment was spent transforming the airport, getting ready for the future of air travel and aircraft that cater to more efficient flying for a large number of people rather than small, very wealthy, super polluting kind of elite.
Now, it's interesting, Finlay, you're obviously working inside. Do you feel that how big a voice is the environmental voice inside the aviation industry?
Well, the difficulty you've got is our industry has a lot of greenwash. And what I mean by greenwash is, kind of false technological or policy solutions. So on the policy side, you've got carbon offsetting. If you look at the airport's plans, and it might be talking about being net zero or carbon neutral by 2030 and that sort of thing. But that's on the basis of carbon offsetting being a thing and working. And we know that fundamentally there just isn't enough space on the planet to plant enough trees to offset an increase in emissions. So we know that's flawed. And then on the technology side, there's talk about hydrogen aircraft, electric. There's mainly Farnborough is talking about so-called sustainable aviation fuels. These are mostly biofuels. Often they can be worse for the environment than simply using fossil fuels. So there's a lot of sort of misinformation that but you get experience too as a worker, but also if you're a politician or a member of the public, you'll see all of this marketing out there telling you problem solved, we can double the number of flights, we can have this massive increase, and there'll be no impact to the planet. And that's simply not true. I'm an aerospace engineer. I've been working on this technology, spent a lot of time investigating these things, and it's really not that simple.
What's your vision for the future of aviation then?
Well, actually, I was invited into the Farnborough Airport Consultative Committee, which is a roundtable of the airport, councillors and community groups. And we said, we don't think more private jets are the future, but what we need to do is we need to fly probably slower, probably in smaller aircraft. You might have seen the founder of Ecotricity, Dale Vince, recently announced he was planning a new airline called EcoJet, and they were going to use smaller hydrogen aircraft. It's not going to be possible to design and develop hydrogen aircraft that are large and fly long distances for another 15, 20 years. But what we can get is smaller, shorter range aircraft carrying less people. And that is possible in the next 10 years. So we need to think about overall decelerating our lifestyles, providing efficient flying for lots of people, rather than very fast, small aircraft that have just a few people on board or zero, as we just heard, and will massively increase pollution in the planet and also just the area around Farnborough.
Good talking to you, Finlay. Nice to get your perspective on everything. Co-founder of Safe Landing. It's an aviation campaign group, as you were saying, with people who actually work in the industry. 8 is the time. Want to give your tuppence worth? You can do so on WhatsApp, 08000 321 333. Start your